Yeah, there you go. What do you think of when you hear of names like Bride, Bloodgood, Grammatrain, Trytan, SFC, Veni Domine? Well, hopefully you think of some great bands and artists putting out some great Christian music, whether it's rock, heavy metal, hip-hop, or whatever. We're going to take a look at all of those today here on the show in my latest vinyl and CD finds video. I've had a bunch of great stuff coming in. So much good stuff this year. So we'll take a look at that along with a couple of VHS tapes and a show book. It's all coming right up. Stay where you are. Hey there, y'all. Welcome back to another Tim Talks Christian Rock. Tim Risto here. Hope you're doing awesome today, and may God bless your day going forward from here. Well, here it is. Another latest vinyl and CD finds video, number 18 here for me. And, I remember probably about this point last year, 2024. Looking at the year going, wow, there have just been so many great Christian rock, metal, Christian music in general releases or re-releases, reissues, whatever, on vinyl and CD, thinking that is an incredible year. Well, now here I'm at the same point here in 2025, a year later going, there have been even more great releases on vinyl and CD this year. It just seems to keep expanding each year. It feels to me like the Christian rock, metal, and Christian music industry is just getting more popular again. I don't know, man. It's just kind of a personal point of view, judging largely just by the sheer volume of releases that keep coming out. There's a ton, and it's great stuff. Both new material from old artists, new artists coming out, and then reissues from bands that may not even be around anymore. But it is just so exciting. To me, this is an exciting time to live in as a fan of Christian rock, metal, and Christian music in general. So we're going to take a look at a bunch of my stuff that's come in here lately. Some of these were pre-orders. Some are just things I've decided to finally pick up, trying to get caught up, because by year's end here in December, here in 2025, when that rolls around, I want to be able to do a very exhaustive or very thorough and well thought out top 10 list of albums for the year. And some of those might be old ones, that have just been reissued. Because again, here's an opportunity to kind of reevaluate things and look at what are just the top 10 releases of the year. Not necessarily new albums or artists, although those will be in there too, but also some bands that have released or reissued, material that was out from previous decades or years. So anyway, got a bunch of great stuff today, a lot of vinyl in particular, but also some CDs. And as I mentioned, a couple videotapes and a show book too. So let's get rolling. All right, first off, y'all, I'm going to start out actually with a book. This right here, IronWrath's Master Storyteller Illustrated Show Book. I've already done a full video review of this in a separate video. You may have seen that. If you haven't, that's why I'm bringing it up here, just to be able to make you aware of it. I'm not going to go over it in very great depth here, so if you are interested in this, go over and check out my video review of this. I'll put a link in the description as well, too. But basically what this is, it's a 64-page glossy illustrated booklet that takes you through IronWrath's Master Storyteller live show. Mainly the themes and the visuals, some of the visual imagery and stuff like that, that is part of the film that accompanies IronWrath when they do their Master Storyteller show in concert. So it's a very, very cool book. Lots of great illustrations and text, some of it from lyrics, some of it just to kind of describe some of the themes of the show itself. This is a wonderful, wonderful book. It's about $30, I think, at the moment on the IronWrath website. Well worth getting. It's just very cool. There's nothing else like this in Christian rock right now. What IronWrath is doing, what they've done with the film, and what they're doing here with the show book are just totally unique. Their music is cool. The cinematic masters of metal, kind of the Pink Floyd of Christian metal. Very, very cool. So I want to make you aware of this. You can head on over to IronWrath's website if you're interested in picking it up. But to me, it is so well worth it. More on this in the future, too. I got another video coming about this where I'm going to actually sit down with this, listen through their vinyl of the Master Storyteller album, which I just got notification shipped to me today, I believe. So I'm going to do a video about sitting down with this booklet and that vinyl and kind of experiencing the themes in the album that way. So anyway, I want to make you aware of that. Pick it up. Available through IronWrath's website. All right, next up I have these Bloodgood VHS videotapes. You're probably like, why did you pick up videotapes? Who watches anything off of VHS video anymore? Well, number one, I'm a collector. I love things like this. And number two, I'm a video guy, and, you know, videotape is what I started on way back in the day, in the 80s and 90s when I first got into video production. But anyway, I got these because these are not available like on Blu-ray or anything like that. These are concerts from Bloodgood, released back in 1990 on videotape. I guess they were also released on DVD either at the same time or a little later. I have not been able to find a DVD copy of these yet, although I know they're out there. But these actually popped up on eBay. They were really reasonably priced. In fact, it was these two plus George Thorogood live videotape. Why it was with the set, I don't know. Maybe whoever was selling them was just trying to get rid of their videotapes, and these were the three they had. But it was all for like 18 bucks. So I thought, well, I'll pick these up. I actually already had this one that I'd gotten off of eBay as well for like $6.99, thinking, well, if I can some point find the first one for about as cheaper price, I'll pick it up. Well, I never could find it for that cheaper price. I could find this one by itself, but I could never find it for that cheaper price. So they were usually 30, 40 bucks or something. So I finally just kept waiting, and then this popped up with two of them, well, and the George Thorogood for 18 bucks, and I thought I'll go ahead and buy it on that. So the cool thing about these, of course, these are concerts, part one and part two of the concert. You have Alive in America, and then you have Shaking the World. The cool thing about these, which I did not expect, I mentioned this on Facebook, but when I popped this open, I noticed an autograph on there. That's Paul Jackson's autograph. And that's on the Alive in America one. And then on the Shaking the World, even on the cover, you can probably see faintly Michael Bloodgood's autograph there. And then on the videotape itself, you've got Paul Jackson, Michael Bloodgood, and Kevin Whistler's autograph as well, all members of the band Bloodgood from back in the day. So I double-checked online with a couple of my Christian rock buddies. Oh, and there's on the back of Alive in America, there's some autographing and stuff there. I can't even read it all. I think it's just all of their... it's Michael Bloodgood and, yeah, Kevin. Oh, Les Carlson's is on there, too, actually, on the back. So it's like everybody autographed them. Now, they're not the greatest autograph. They're in this red marker. It's probably all the person had available at the time. But regardless, I did put pictures of these up on Facebook with some of my Christian rock buddies to say, hey, do these look authentic to you? And everybody commented that, yes, they were. So kind of a pleasant surprise to find that these were autographed. I mainly just wanted copies of the concerts as they were originally released on videotape. Might try and transfer these or digitize these, even though, yes, I know they're on YouTube already. But to try and make as clean a copies that I can, personally, myself. I might try and do that here at some point. But anyway, just a pleasant surprise to find them autographed. Just kind of cool, makes these even more interesting and valuable, too, and just kind of fun collectibles to have. Maybe someday, I don't know. I don't know where the masters of these concert films are, if they still exist, or whether Intense Records, ultimately got rid of them at some point over the years. But could we ever see them released on, Blu-ray or 4K format? I don't know. It seems unlikely at this point, but who knows? So anyway, cool little collectible finds on eBay. Okay, from there, let's go ahead and dig into some vinyl, and I may go back and forth between some vinyl and CDs here. But let's start with this one here, Brides, Vipers, and Shadows, newly released on a double vinyl. This is a phenomenal album. I've already done a review of the CD, the album itself. This to me is, I call it classic Bride. Not classic in the sense like the first 3 albums Bride, but just classic in that this is really good Bride that just harks back to the best of their stuff. Not in style so much as just in quality of music and lyrical writing and style of their approach to the kind of more complex music and just interesting, and you get a ton of music. It's a double album, so you get, what is it here again, 20 tracks. It's just phenomenal. So I love this album. This is going to be, I can just tell you right now, on my top 10 albums of the year. It's just so good. Again, if you approach this album thinking, looking for the Bride of the first 3 albums or whatever, you may not necessarily find that, although there are some tracks I think that hark back to that as well. But it's just great Bride music and lyrics, vocally, musically. Everything about this album is top notch. So I love this album. This will be on my top 10 albums for the year. There's just no doubt about it. So anyway, the CD's been out for a while, but the vinyl just got released. And this is not a gatefold. And there's the front cover art. I've still got the plastic on here, so there may be some reflections. There's the back with Troy and Dale. Track listing. Love this cover art by Rafael Tavares Grip. And then it does have some neat things included here with the vinyl release. You get this great, what do you call it? I can't think of it. You get this great record flat with a different kind of cover art design, autographed by Troy and Dale. These are not actual autographs. They're kind of the printed, autographs. But it's blank on that side, and then the cover art here. Very cool to see that. You also get a lyric sheet, which, since it's a double album, both sides are filled with lyrics. But again, this album has such great lyrical content on it, thanks to Dale's very, very awesome lyrical writing. And then you get 2 vinyls, both of them in paper, not paper and polyurethane, but just paper sleeves, black paper sleeves. Vipers is in this beautiful blue, side A and side B there. Very, very cool looking. I have listened to it. It sounds really, really good. And then Shadows here, and another black paper sleeve in this gorgeous orange color. Side C there and side D there for the Shadows. Volume 2, you could say, the second disc, whatever, of Vipers and Shadows. Simply a phenomenal album, but also a really nice vinyl release. Yes, it's 2 vinyl in 1 sleeve, so again, it's not a gatefold. It's not a detriment in my book. It's just really good stuff. Not everything double vinyl has to be a gatefold. Some things just lend themselves to it more than others. I think this is just fine as a single sleeve double vinyl release. Great album, great vinyl release. The colors of the vinyl are beautiful. Music sounds good. Thanks to John De Laurentiis again for doing some copy work on this, or doing the copy editing work on this. There were some mismatches, CD in terms of the lyrics being translated properly from the actual songs themselves. John did a good cleanup here to get them more accurate to what the lyrics actually are in the song. So it helps here with the vinyl as opposed to the CD. But anyway, great album. Pick up this vinyl while you can. I'm not sure how many copies there are of this. I have to look it up again. But I believe this was through Retroactive. Yes, limited 1 vinyl. So get your copy while you can. Great, great Bride album for sure. Kudos to Dale and Troy for continuing to put out great, great Christian rock and metal music. Awesome stuff from Bride. All right, all time to talk Grammatrain, the great 90s grunge rock, alt-rock band that featured Pete Stewart, Paul Rohrbeck, also known as PJ Bostic, and his brother Dalton Rohrbeck. Of course, Paul, PJ, I had on the show many months ago for an interview. Great stuff. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Put a link in the description down below. Also featured the launch party for his latest solo album on a separate video as well, too. Could put that in the description as well, too. But Grammatrain is just a great 90s band. Many of you may not have been on board the grunge rock scene. I was fine with it. I loved bands like Alice in Chains and Soundgarden and Pearl Jam, and Grammatrain was just kind of right in that vein, but had a Christian message behind it, so I loved it. I thought they were great. And Boone's has recently been taking the opportunity to reissue, and in some case issue for the first time, the early back catalog of Grammatrain, their first 3 albums, basically. They were available on CD, of course, back in the day, but they have now reissued those on remastered CDs, first 3 albums, and also issued for the first time those albums on vinyl, because back in the 90s, vinyl wasn't big, so now they've reissued or issued them for the first time on vinyl, which is really, really very cool. So I've already shown the 2 CDs in a previous video that I got the remastered CDs of Lonely House and Flying, but now I'll show these vinyls and the other CD release that came out here too as well. So let's talk about those. Here is the kind of self-titled album, Grammatrain, on the vinyl and CD here. This was a very hard one to find. And just to give you a few notes here, this is from Boone's Overstock's listing, but originally released on CD in '94 on Zoe Worldwide Records by Grammatrain. This includes all 9 original tracks, but has 13 tracks total. Includes 3 additional bonus tracks from the band's 1994 demo cassette. Tracks 5 to 9 are live acoustic ones on here as well. Track Mindform is exclusive to this release. All others were eventually re-recorded on other albums. There's a 12 by 12 full color insert we'll look at, remastered by Rob Caldwell, produced by Jesse Sprinkle of Poor Old Lou, and limited to just 300 copies on vinyl, Sunflare vinyl. So let's take a look at the vinyl first. Again, there's the front cover. There's the back with a photo of the band and the track listing. Yep, 10 tracks and 11, 12, 13, 3 bonus tracks here. Here is the insert sheet, which includes the lyrics there, and band photo and listing and liner notes on that side. Just a paper sleeve, not a paper and polyurethane, black paper sleeve, and this Sunflare vinyl here, which is really very cool. That kind of clock logo that mirrors the album art, and then the retroactive logo on side B. I have not listened to this vinyl release yet. I've been catching up on a lot of music, so I have not heard this yet, but I look forward to putting it on perhaps this evening if all goes well. And then here's the CD, Grammatrain, part of the Legends Remastered series. Here's the back, sorry for reflections, back of the CD. Open it up. Here's the inside with the CD itself and the clock symbol printed on the disc art. There's the tray, back of the book, front of the book, inside, lyrics, and the back again. The vinyl and CD both mirror the same track listing and order, so nothing different. You don't get more on the CD and less on the vinyl, or vice versa. So they are basically mirrors of each other. So glad to have this one. This is one I'd never owned back in the day. Heard so much about it. Actually never heard this one before, so I'm really excited to hear this. I plan on, again, hopefully popping the vinyl on the turntable tonight. That self-titled release just came the other day, as that one just got released kind of along the same time as the Bride vinyl that I showed you. But this release here of Lonely House and Flying was part of a bundle deal that I had already, and I just haven't shown you all this because just didn't have time. So anyway, this is a bundle release here of the vinyl. Again, I showed you the CDs that I got of these albums already in a previous video, but this bundle had some cool things because you had the 2 vinyl releases, and then you also got a record flat featuring the band with autograph by Paul Rohrbeck, PJ, of course. It's just a regular flat with blank on one side, and then this photo with his autograph on it, and then also this cool little kind of sticker again of the band from that same photo. And then you got Lonely House and Flying on vinyl, so I'll show you those real quick here too. Okay, Lonely House was Grammatrain's album from 1995. Can't remember, I think I heard Flying first and then went back and got Lonely House, but I don't recall for sure. This features insert again with that band photo there, and the lyrics and some more photos on that side. Comes in a paper and polyurethane sleeve, black paper and polyurethane. Comes in this cool clear vinyl edition here. Very, very nice. I just opened this here before coming on camera, and so I have not listened to this vinyl. I've listened to the CD of it that I'd gotten before, but not the vinyl yet, so can't comment on the sound quality as yet. Again, as I've said in so many of these vinyl and CD videos, finds videos, I do plan on doing reviews of a great deal of these albums. In fact, I'm in process on many of these albums that I've featured in past videos, and we'll do so on the Grammatrain stuff for sure. So that'll be coming in the future. Grammatrain's Flying album was originally from 1997, now issued again for the first time on vinyl. This is very cool. This is definitely a favorite album for many people who are fans of grunge, Christian grunge. This is a favorite. I do love that cover art. It's just really, really eye-catching on number levels. Here's the insert that comes with it, that side, and then lyrics over here. Vinyl, again, black paper and polyurethane sleeve with this kind of smoke brown vinyl with that cover art there on side A, and again on side B as well too. Again, I just opened this one, so I can't comment on the sound quality of the vinyl, but I do expect it to be pretty awesome, so I look forward to listening to this one probably around the same time as I listen to Lonely House, or within a night or two of each other. So again, I'll do a review on that as well coming up soon. All right, next up, let's talk about Trytan, the great Rush-like band featuring Larry Dean. This is, as it says here on the hype sticker, 1987 prog metal classic remastered for fans of Dream Theater, Rush, and the Flower Kings. And this is a phenomenal debut album for the band. This is a vinyl reissue. It was originally issued on vinyl and I believe CD as well. It was Boone's. They had remastered it for CD some time ago. I do have that. But now they're finally getting around to reissuing it here on vinyl. And this is, as it says here, opaque turquoise vinyl. So it's a really cool color. This is the original cover art, but they do have a flat in here that I'll show you here in a second that featured some reissued cover art that came out, some revised and reissued cover art that came out with the CD edition when they did that. And I always loved that. I was hoping they would reissue the vinyl with that cover art, or do a flipper to where one side would be the new cover art and the older one would be on the other side, kind of like they did with Saint's first album, where they had the Saint logo, because there was two covers for that vinyl release initially, so they did a flipper on that. I was hoping they'd do that with this, but they didn't. But what they did do, I'll show you in a minute, is give a record flat for you with that new cover art. So you could technically slide it in there in the sleeve and be able to have it as your cover art. So I really like this revised cover art a lot. I think it's beautiful. I think it's much more fitting. That one's very simple, worked for its day, but this one just is more striking. And it's autographed by Larry Dean. And I think these are actual autographs because, is this numbered? I don't think it's numbered, but I think that's his actual autograph and not a printed edition, which is really, really very cool. This album's just great. It has songs like Getting Ready, Mr. Electric, It's War, Rip Van Winkle, It's War Live is a track on here too. Very, very cool. So glad to have this on vinyl because it is a great album, very Rush-like in its sound. Here's the insert with photos on this side, lyrics on that side. Vinyl itself is in just a white paper sleeve, no polyurethane, but it is in this gorgeous turquoise blue vinyl. Retroactive logo on the flip side. Great album. All of Trytan's albums are wonderful. Larry Dean is just a phenomenal guitarist and musician and Christian brother. So many levels. I am planning, I've talked about this for a while, I am planning to have him interviewed on the show. It's been strictly due to my schedule, not his. He's been pretty open. It's just I've had such a crazy work schedule. I have not been able to get him scheduled yet, but I am going to be in touch with him here shortly to pick up conversation again, hopefully get him scheduled for an interview soon. So be watching for that. I do wish they would reissue their second album, their sophomore album of Trytan's, Silent Tiger, on vinyl. It is on vinyl, and I do have it, but it doesn't have all the tracks on it. So they fit it all. They fit what they could on one vinyl. And they didn't do a gatefold or a second vinyl, but I do wish they'd reissued that as a complete album at some point, maybe as a gatefold or whatever it takes. But regardless, so glad to have this one, their first album now, on vinyl. Cool stuff. All right, next up I got a couple of rap and hip-hop albums that I'd been eyeing for a while. They're pretty pricey, so I kind of put it off. And finally picked them up because there was I forgot what it is, a 10%, 20% off sale, everything on the store. This was at Boone's, I think it was. So I finally decided to pick them up. I think shipping was $10 flat rate or something like that. Anyway, the deal made it worth my finally getting these because normally they're between $40 and $50 each, the two vinyls I'm talking about. This one here, SFC, originally called Soldiers for Christ, then shortened to SFC, and this is, I think, the third album called Phase 3, which I was not super familiar with. I knew that Soup, Chris Cooper, I believe it is, right there in the center, is kind of considered the grandfather of Christian rap and hip-hop, but I hadn't really heard this album before, and I'm so glad I did because it is really awesome. I love this album. This is pure 90s hip-hop, rap and hip-hop from 1992, but it is really good. Musically, it's got some great sampling and stuff on it, some great musicians playing on, including XL plays on here, who I had the honor of being able to guest host with Kent over at Area 312 and interview him. Really, really cool guy. So he plays on here in a couple of tracks, and then you've got who's this? This is DJ Dove, is that right? DJ Dove, I think it is, yes, who went on to be part of Gospel Gangsters, which is the other album I'll show you here in a minute. Anyway, if you're not a fan of rap and hip-hop, I understand. I like it, especially 90s. For some reason, I really enjoyed the 90s hip-hop scene quite a bit, I guess, because I grew up through some of that. And just quickly mention here, this is a gatefold with lyrics here in the center. But this is really a very good album. And if you wanted to start anywhere, I would recommend starting with this because it's good. The lyrics are very rich, biblically rich on a number of levels, spiritually rich, and it's really a cool album. The only thing about this is you don't get all the lyrics on here. You know, rap songs tend to have a lot of lyrics in them, and this doesn't include every single song. Some of these are kind of instrumentals or little talking bits, but there are a few tracks that are rapped and the lyrics just aren't here. They just couldn't fit everything in the gatefold, and there aren't any inserts. But you do get two vinyl, both in this cool green lime color vinyl. Retroactive logo on that side, and these are on paper and polyurethane sleeves. Here's the second one, also again in a green vinyl. Again, I hadn't heard this album until I put this on the turntable here the other night, last night actually, and I absolutely loved it. I would stack this up against any mainstream rap or hip-hop from the 90s because this is just so good. Fast rap on many parts, great sampling, great mixing, great music, just a very cool, rich lyrics, spiritually rich lyrics, hard-hitting in some spots, just really, really a great album. If you have not heard this, do yourself a favor, pick it up. It's a great album, great vinyl release as well, which was not originally on vinyl. So the CD is also available, a remastered CD of this. I have not picked that up yet. I want to start with the vinyl, but it is a great album from 1992, SFC Phase 3. All right, next up I'll show you this other rap hip-hop album that I mentioned a second ago, and that's Gospel Gangsters, Gang Affiliated from 1994. And these four guys, they call themselves Gospel Gangsters because each of them has a past. They have kind of a gangster past, kind of a hoodlum past. They had very sinful past that they talk about in a song on here called Testimony, and it's really good. Each one of them actually takes a rap, turn it rap, and explains their testimony and how they ultimately came to faith. So it's really cool. This is a harder hitting album, both lyrically and musically. It's a little more street, a little more urban, and very cool. I really like this album a lot. They originally didn't want to put this in Christian record stores back in the day because the N-word is on here several times, especially in the opening track and in a few others too. But so Christian record stores, I think, shied away from distributing the album at all in their stores because of that. Didn't want any backlash. And so it didn't get much of a wide distribution at all, unfortunately, because it's very, very good. And there's even a couple tracks on here. I think it's Interrogation 1 and Interrogation 2, 2.5 minutes and 3 minutes, where the guys actually kind of talk in a rap a little bit, or in a kind of a pseudo interview about why they've approached the album and their music the way they are, how they're true men of faith. And it comes across very much both in the song lyrics throughout the album as a whole and in those little kind of mini interview segments too. But this is really very good. If you want a little more street style, harder edged, urban style of rap and hip-hop, this is a great album. Similar to the last one, it's a gatefold. I've got the cool photos here, the band of the artist there, and again, lyrics here that don't quite cover the whole double album, but you get quite a bit of them, some of the key songs. And these are in black paper and polyurethane sleeves. This particular album is in this beautiful blue vinyl, similar to the Trytan in some ways, a little deeper blue here. Here's the second vinyl with side C and D with the retroactive logo. So another great rap hip-hop album from the 90s, which is just phenomenal. Again, not all the rap lyrics are in here, and there aren't any inserts, but this is actually just a phenomenal release. Pick it up if you're at all interested in Christian rock and rap. Both of these albums are just great albums from their time, and they hold up really well. And I'd hold both of these up against any mainstream rap and hip-hop artist from back in the day, certainly. And I'll be doing full reviews of each of these in the near future, so keep an eye out for that. All right, real quick here, y'all. We're getting kind of long on the video, so I'm going to try and zoom through this, but we do have vinyl releases from Veni Domine, kind of a doom metal Swedish band from back in the day. This is their first album, I believe, Fall Babylon Fall from 92, and reissued recently through Melodic Passion Records, I think for the first time on vinyl. I think they were originally only on CD, again, back in the 90s. It was typical. This is numbered 163 of 250. Gatefold vinyl release, a very nice edition. This particular one, again, double album, is on black vinyl. I actually originally ordered this in the white vinyl version because I have a white and black version, but accidentally got the black vinyl version, and Matthew Hunt over at Boone's was kind enough to say, I'll give you a discount because the white vinyl costs more than the black vinyl. He said, I'll give you a refund if you're okay with that. And he did. Very graciously gave me the refund. And I was actually fine with it because the more I thought about it, I actually really like this album on the black vinyl instead of the white. So I kind of felt like that worked out really well. But Matthew was so quick to respond. Like within minutes after my emailing him, he was like, hey, Tim, sorry about that. It would be okay, you know, for a refund for that rather than doing the whole shipping back and forth. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. So anyway, kudos to Matthew Hunt. Great customer service. Kind, just wonderful guy. And so if you have any problems, be sure and reach out to any of the record labels. And you know, they'll respond. They really will. So appreciate that. This is a phenomenal album. My favorite by the band is actually their last album, Light, which leans a lot more into Queensryche territory, which I really love that album. I'm not as familiar with this one or the next one I'm about to show you, but I have started to spot listen through this one. It sounds really good. Different style than what their last album, Light, was like, but I think they have 7 albums out. So this one and the next one are the first 2 to get reissued on vinyl. I hope they go through their whole catalog and do that, but I guess it depends upon how well these first 2 sell. Here's the next vinyl release from them, from Material Sanctuary from '94, again on Melodic Passion Records. This is also 163 of 250, hand numbered, that I got. Love that album art. Very cool. Their album art on actually all of them are very good. Another gatefold release. There's the band there. Again, more of this kind of Swedish doom metal style. I don't know if I showed you the insert on the other one, but there is an insert on these albums. I might have missed it on the last one. It's largely lyrics. And then this one, paper and polyurethane sleeve. This one's the white vinyl, which I really like. And again, kind of nice that I've got one white and one black vinyl. So it works out pretty well. And here's the second vinyl. Side C, it's just kind of more of the same as far as the label and look of the vinyl goes. Side C and D, but very nice vinyl editions. I have not listened to any of Material Sanctuary yet, but I look forward to doing so in the near future. I will also be doing full reviews of both of these albums in the future as well too, but these are 2 really cool releases. If you want to see more or hear more of Veni Domine and see more vinyl releases, support picking these albums up. It says there are 250 copies of each one. It's 250 of the black of this, 250 of the white of this, 250 of the black of this, and 250 of the white of this. So 500 of each in those different colors. So pick them up while you can. I don't think they'll get a second pressing, most likely. Also, at the same time as getting the vinyl, I picked up the CD releases of both of those. I'll show those off to you really quick. Front and back. CD, I won't take you through the whole book or anything like that, but photos in the tray. Here's Material Sanctuary, front and back. Inside with the CD, inside underneath the CD in the tray with the photo. All right, just to note a few straggling CDs. I did get Tamplin and Axe to Grind through, I think it was Gerda Records. They had a sale on some CDs. I don't think I showed this one off before, but I did get this in some order recently. This is the gold disc edition of Tamplin's and Axe to Grind. Ken Tamplin of Shout fame and all sorts of other bands as well. But anyway, did not have this album, and the gold disc CD came up on sale. I don't remember what it was, $7, $10. It was a good deal compared to what prices I've normally seen it at, so I wanted to pick that one up, so I did. And then these are a couple straggling CDs, which actually I got from Doug Van Pelt. He and I are in a small group at church together, and the other day he just brought these. They're still sealed. I haven't even opened them yet, but he brought me these 2 CDs. He said, hey, I just got these in the mail. You want them? I was like, sure. This one is Lazarus Grimm, Destroying Your Legacy. Look forward to checking them out. Know nothing about them, but look forward to hearing them, seeing what they're like. And, of course, Apologetics, who I'm familiar with, kind of a satirical band that does Christian versions of mainstream songs from bands, mainstream bands. So They have a song title here. First one is Heaven's Metal. Is a parody of Heavy Metal by Sammy Hagar. They've got Love Removed All My Shame is the song title, which is a parody of Love Removal Machine by The Cult. Stuff like that. They got all sorts of stuff on here. So I have not listened to an apologetics album in forever. They've been around for quite a while, so I'll have to break into that one and see how it is. So, okay, anyway, y'all, that's all I got for today. I know there's a lot today. I know this was kind of a long video. I was trying to cram a lot of stuff into this video. I've got a lot of material trying to get caught up so I can kind of move on to more of these album reviews, which I'm working my way through too, and more interviews. And I've got first album review that's coming up next actually is Undoubting Thomas, so be watching for that. Hopefully late this week if I can get that out yet too. Work is crazy busy right now. Have to admit I'm a little bit down lately, as probably many of you are too. The whole Charlie Kirk situation, I know I don't have a lot of energy today even in this video, and it's just kind of left me winded a bit. So maybe y'all are feeling the same thing. So continue to keep the Kirk family in your prayers, and just Christians, all of us. We need to stay in prayer, stay focused on Christ. Evils of the world are real. The spiritual forces of darkness are hard at work right now. So stay in prayer, stay close to God's word. Hug your family, hug your friends. Just stay close to the word of God. That's all we can do right now. And keep fighting the good fight, right? So anyway, that's all I got for today. Go out and listen to some great Christian rock. Make it any one of these albums today. There's a lot of good stuff here. But remember, above all else, as I just said, stay in God's word. Blessings, y'all. Take care. Have a great one.